Social interaction is an emerging field of research that requires a comprehensive study. For a thorough exploration, an approach is necessary that sets up experiments on social interaction and facilitates understanding it. Hence, the experiments require interaction testbeds, and this video discusses an approach to constructing them. We understand under interaction testbed a multi-agent system with interaction agents integrated by means of the JADE environment. For constructing interaction testbeds, we use the InfoFramework, a statistical framework for experimentation and rapid prototyping. Interaction scenarios simulate real-life situations to be explored with participation of interaction agents that model humans. The interaction scenarios can be defined interactively. Our interaction agents are embodied conversational agents that maintain both semantic and statistical engines to analyze natural language utterances. Our interaction agents maintain four models borrowed from the humanities: an emotion model, a personality model, a culture model, and a context model. The agents exchange messages specified by a particular interaction scenario. Let us construct an interaction testbed for the interaction scenario from the Lost in Translation movie in my previous video. Remember, a representative of one culture, the director, gives instructions on how the representative of another culture, the actor Bob, should behave in the commercial to achieve a necessary advertising effect. The instructions should be interpreted from Japanese into English by an interpreter, and the director insists explicitly on an exact interpretation. Here is the transcript of the dialogue from the New York Times. You might pause the video to read it. In the movie, the interpreter fails. For the simulation, we construct a hypothesis explaining the reason of the failure. Cultural peculiarities hinder successful interpretation because they influence emotional behavior of the interpreter. In other words, considering that superiors have a special status in the Japanese culture, we assume that the interpreter is overwhelmed by her duties and frightened by the persons that have a higher social status, her boss, director, and the prominent actor Bob. That's why the interpreter omits interpretation, although it has critical importance for understanding director's intentions. We simulate interaction and look how the constructed hypothesis can be considered in the resulting interaction testbed. The testbed contains four agents: the embodied conversational agents, the actor Bob, director, interpreter. The fourth interaction agent is a meta-agent that doesn't maintain any models and only supervises interaction. Next, we define the interaction scenario as a sequence diagram known from the Unified Modeling Language. This sequence diagram contains participating agents and also the exchanged messages according to the formulated hypothesis. At the top, we see the graphical representation of the interaction with four agents: interaction, interpreter, Bob, director, that send the messages in it, shooting, and so on. Below we can change the interaction diagram by editing its textual representation. Now we generate the interaction testbed specified by the proposed interaction scenario. The generation is finished. Now we start the simulation. We register messages in the testbed in the Stanford sniffer agent. The interaction agent initializes processing by sending the init message to the individual agents. The agents read the models, emotion, personality, culture, context, modulated by particular parameters and values. For the interpreter agent, it could mean that the parameter social relationship changes her emotion model in the manner that carrying out her duties is not possible. Afterwards, the interaction agent initializes shooting, and the director agent gives instructions in Japanese to Bob. Bob doesn't understand. The interpreter agent should interpret the instructions, however she can't do it because the modulated emotion model hinders her. Simulation specified by the interaction scenario is finished. The sniffer agent recorded the messages in the testbed and we can inspect them. Here is the init message. Now experimenters can assess the simulation. They can extend or modify the current interaction scenario. Moreover, they can define other scenarios to prove different interaction hypotheses. For example, they can simulate the interaction scenario defined by the director of the Lost in Translation, Sofia Coppola, New York Times, that purposely gave the director lame directions. The reason was, he wasn't supposed to be the best director. Thanks for your attention.